travels.
Well, for many in Florida, Highway 98 along the Big Bend proved to be a difficult path today, including for our own crew there on the ground in that area. The National Desk's Tanner Stewart is less than 50 miles from one of the hardest hit areas, joining us now live from Tallahassee, Florida. Tanner, good to see you. What are you hearing from residents there?
Good evening, Eugene. You know, the sentiment here around Tallahassee, I think, is one of being very fortunate. They were expecting a lot last night. The stores closed early, everything closed well before midnight, but they were saved for the most part. Now, further down south in that Big Bend region, a lot of people evacuated here to Tallahassee, but many didn't. And those are the ones that we met down there today, that some telling us that they feel fortunate to have survived through the night after the conditions they went through, saying that it's the worst that they've ever experienced.
These are areas that are very heavily wooded. Just driving around Taylor County, I mean, you see these trees knocked over, and it is going to require a lot of resources.
Hurricane Idalia sweeping through Florida's Big Bend, destroying structures, cars, and knocking out power for hundreds of thousands of Floridians. In Taylor County, small town Perry, Florida, home to just 7,000 residents, all believed to be without power after Idalia hit. At last check, almost 6,700 customers there remain without power.
We never had nothing like this. You know, we got trees down everywhere. We got power lines down, roofs off buildings.
At first, the wind was coming out of the west and all the trees were bending. And I was just sitting there in awe. And then I heard the roar. And I hope that everybody's okay. So I don't want to experience that again.
This hardware shop destroyed. The roof caved in. Remnants of the roof scattered across the property. The barber shop next to it had its roof ripped off as well. Despite what could take months, if not years, to repair, residents in Perry are banding together to return to normalcy.
At the end of the day, how this look, it could have been way worse than what we expected. So.
And as you can see, there are very optimistic attitudes from all of the people that we spoke with in Perry today. As the recovery now begins, in some cases it could be weeks, sometimes months, and in some cases years for all of this to go back to what it was just 2 days ago. Eugene?
Tanner, you know, lots of optimism, but obviously the dangers are not necessarily over for people even there. I've seen, well, we saw in your report there images of down power lines. I've seen pictures on social media of snakes in the middle of the road. What are the big concerns overnight for the people in that area?
Well, that's interesting you noted that, because even heading down to that area, down Highway 98, it was covered, and maybe not so much for 10 miles or so leaving Tallahassee, but every mile that we got closer and closer down 98, it was more and more tree damage. We saw a car had veered off at the side of the road. Hopefully, we think maybe in the middle of the night no one was in that car, but there were power lines surrounding it, and that was just one small little stretch of 98. It went all the way down to Perry, and that's as far as we went today. We assume that that damage carried on all the way down Big Bend.
Hopefully people heed all the warnings and stay safe tonight. Tanner Stewart reporting from Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. Thanks so much.